Chapter 46. The word of Jehovah which came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the nations of Egypt, concerning the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, which was by the river Euphrates in Carchemish, which Nebuchadrezzar king of Babylon smote in the 4th year of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah king of Judah. Prepare ye the buckler and shield, and draw near to battle. Harness the horses, and get up, ye horsemen, and stand forth with your helmets. Furbish the spears, put on the coats of mail. Wherefore have I seen it? They are dismayed, and are turned backward, and their mighty ones are beaten down, and are fled apace, and look not back. Terror is on every side, saith Jehovah. Let not the swift flee away, nor the mighty man escape. In the north by the river Euphrates have they stumbled and fallen. Who is this that riseth up like the Nile, whose waters toss themselves like the rivers? Egypt riseth up like the Nile, and his waters toss themselves like the rivers. And he saith, I will rise up, I will cover the earth, I will destroy cities and the inhabitants thereof. Go up, ye horses, and rage, ye chariots, and let the mighty men go forth. Cush and Put, that handle the shield, and the Lubim, that handle and bend the bow. For that day is a day of the Lord, Jehovah of hosts, a day of vengeance, that he may avenge him of his adversaries. And the sword shall devour and be satiate, and shall drink its fill of their blood. For the Lord Jehovah of hosts hath a sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. Go up into Gilead, and take balm, O virgin daughter of Egypt. In vain dost thou use many medicines. There is no healing for thee. The nations have heard of thy shame, and the earth is full of thy cry. For the mighty man hath stumbled against the mighty. They are fallen, both of them together. The word that Jehovah spake to Jeremiah the prophet, how that Nebuchadrezzar king of Babylon should come and smite the land of Egypt. Declare ye in Egypt, and publish in Migdol, and publish in Memphis, and in Tahpanhes. Say ye, stand forth and prepare thee, for the sword hath devoured round about thee. Why are thy strong ones swept away? They stood not, because Jehovah did drive them. He made many to stumble, yea, they fell one upon another. And they said, Arise, and let us go again to our own people, and to the land of our nativity, from the oppressing sword. They cried there, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, is but a noise. He hath let the appointed time pass by. As I live, saith the king, whose name is Jehovah of hosts, surely like Tabor among the mountains, and like Carmel by the sea, so shall he come. O thou daughter that dwellest in Egypt, furnish thyself to go into captivity. For Memphis shall become a desolation, and shall be burnt up without inhabitant. Egypt is a very fair heifer, but destruction out of the north is come. It is come. Also her hired men in the midst of her are like calves of the stall, for they also are turned back, they are fled away together, they did not stand. For the day of their calamity is come upon them, the time of their visitation. The sound thereof shall go like the serpent, for they shall march with an army, and come against her with axes, as hewers of wood. They shall cut down her forest, saith Jehovah, though it cannot be searched, because they are more than the locusts, and are innumerable. The daughter of Egypt shall be put to shame. She shall be delivered into the hand of the people of the north. Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, saith, Behold, I will punish Ammon of No, and Pharaoh and Egypt with her gods and her kings, even Pharaoh and them that trust in him. And I will deliver them into the hand of those that seek their lives, and into the hand of Nebuchadrezzar king of Babylon, and into the hand of his servants. And afterwards it shall be inhabited, as in the days of old, saith Jehovah. But fear not thou, O Jacob my servant, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be quiet and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. Fear not thou, O Jacob my servant, saith Jehovah, for I am with thee. For I will make a full end of all the nations whither I have driven thee. But I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will in no wise leave thee unpunished. End of chapter 46. Chapter 47. The word of Jehovah that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the Philistines before that Pharaoh smote Gaza. Thus saith Jehovah, Behold, waters rise up out of the north, and shall become an overflowing stream, and shall overflow the land and all that is therein, the city and them that dwell therein. And the men shall cry, and all the inhabitants of the land shall wail. At the noise of the stamping of the hoofs of his strong ones, at the rushing of his chariots, at the rumbling of his wheels, the fathers look not back to their children for feebleness of hands. Because of the day that cometh to destroy all the Philistines, to cut off from Tyre and Sidon every helper that remaineth. For Jehovah will destroy the Philistines, the remnant of the isle of Caphtor. Baldness is come upon Gaza, Ashkelon is brought to naught, the remnant of their valley. How long wilt thou cut thyself? O thou sword of Jehovah, how long will it be ere thou be quiet? Put up thyself into thy scabbard, rest and be still. How canst thou be quiet, seeing Jehovah hath given thee a charge? Against Ashkelon and against the seashore, there hath he appointed it. End of chapter 47. Chapter 48. Of Moab. Thus saith Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, Woe unto Nebo, for it is laid waste. Kiriathaim is put to shame, it is taken. Misgab is put to shame and broken down. The praise of Moab is no more. In Heshbon they have devised evil against her. Come and let us cut her off from being a nation. Thou also, O madman, shalt be brought to silence. The sword shall pursue thee. The sound of a cry from Horonaim, desolation and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have caused a cry to be heard. For by the ascent of Luhith with continual weeping shall they go up. For at the descent of Horonaim they have heard the distress of the cry of destruction. Flee, save your lives, and be like the heath in the wilderness. For because thou hast trusted in thy works and in thy treasures, thou also shalt be taken. And Chemosh shall go forth into captivity, his priests and his princes together. And the destroyer shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley also shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed, as Jehovah hath spoken. Give wings unto Moab, that she may fly and get her away, and her cities shall become a desolation without any to dwell therein. Cursed be he that doeth the work of Jehovah negligently, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Moab hath been at ease from his youth, and he hath settled on his lees, and hath not been emptied from vessel to vessel. Neither hath he gone into captivity. Therefore his taste remaineth in him, and his scent is not changed. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Jehovah, that I will send unto him them that pour off, and they shall pour him off, and they shall empty his vessels, and break their bottles in pieces. And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How say ye, We are mighty men, and valiant men for the war? Moab is laid waste, and they are gone up into his cities, and his chosen young men are gone down to the slaughter, saith the King, whose name is Jehovah of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near to come, and his affliction hasteth fast. All ye that are round about him, bemoan him, and all ye that know his name, say, How is the strong staff broken, the beautiful rod? O thou daughter that dwellest in Dibon, come down from thy glory, and sit in thirst. For the destroyer of Moab is come up against thee, he hath destroyed thy strongholds. O inhabitant of Aroer, stand by the way and watch. Ask him that fleeth and her that escapeth, say, What hath been done? Moab is put to shame, for it is broken down. Wail and cry. Tell ye it by the Arnon, that Moab is laid waste. And judgment is come upon the plain country, upon Holon, and upon Jaza, and upon Mephaeth, and upon Dibon, and upon Nebo, and upon Beth-Diblathaim, and upon Kiriathaim, and upon Beth-Gamel, and upon Beth-Meon, and upon Kerioth, and upon Bozrah, and upon all the cities of the land of Moab, far or near. The horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, saith Jehovah. Make ye him drunken, for he magnified himself against Jehovah, and Moab shall wallow in his vomit, and he also shall be in derision. For was not Israel a derision unto thee? Was he found among thieves? For as often as thou speakest of him, thou waggest the head. O ye inhabitants of Moab, leave the cities and dwell in the rock, and be like the dove that maketh her nest over the mouth of the abyss. We have heard of the pride of Moab, that he is very proud, his loftiness and his pride, and his arrogancy, and the haughtiness of his heart. I know his wrath, saith Jehovah, that it is naught. His boastings have wrought nothing. Therefore will I wail for Moab, yea, I will cry out for all Moab. For the men of Kirheres shall they mourn. With more than the weeping of Jazer will I weep for thee, O vine of Sibmah. Thy branches passed over the sea, they reached even to the sea of Jazer. Upon thy summer fruits and upon thy vintage the destroyer is fallen. And gladness and joy is taken away from the fruitful field and from the land of Moab. And I have caused wine to cease from the winepresses. None shall tread with shouting, the shouting shall be no shouting. From the cry of Heshbon even unto Elealeh, even unto Jahaz have they uttered their voice. From Zoar even unto Horonaim, to Eglath-Shalisha, for the waters of Nimrim also shall become desolate. Moreover, I will cause to cease in Moab, saith Jehovah, him that offereth in the high place, and him that burneth incense to his gods. Therefore my heart soundeth for Moab like pipes, and my heart soundeth like pipes for the men of Kir-Heres. Therefore the abundance that he hath gotten is perished. For every head is bald, and every beard clipped. Upon all the hands are cuttings, and upon the loins sackcloth. On all the housetops of Moab, and in the streets thereof, there is lamentation everywhere. For I have broken Moab like a vessel wherein none delighteth, saith Jehovah. How is it broken down? How do they wail? How hath Moab turned the back with shame? So shall Moab become a derision and a terror to all that are round about him. For thus saith Jehovah, Behold, he shall fly as an eagle, and shall spread out his wings against Moab. Kerioth is taken, and the strongholds are seized, and the heart of the mighty men of Moab at that day shall be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. And Moab shall be destroyed from being a people, because he hath magnified himself against Jehovah. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitant of Moab, saith Jehovah. He that fleeth from the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that getteth up out of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For I will bring upon him, even upon Moab, the year of their visitation, saith Jehovah. They that fled stand without strength under the shadow of Heshbon. For a fire is gone forth out of Heshbon, and a flame from the midst of Sihon, and hath devoured the corner of Moab, and the crown of the head of the tumultuous ones. Woe unto thee, O Moab! The people of Chemosh is undone, for thy sons are taken away captive, and thy daughters into captivity. Yet will I bring back the captivity of Moab in the latter days, saith Jehovah. Thus far is the judgment of Moab. End of chapter 48.